Is it painful? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's just a word. If someone isn't coming at you, putting their hands on you or nothing like that, let it go. After last week's episode, we stayed on for a long time talking because at the end of the day, a guest, and I'm not going to say no names, had dropped the N-word. And we try not to be that type of podcast. You could go somewhere else, but if you was trying to get super ratchet, that ain't us. But anyway, that actually sparked the conversation about the power of the N-word. And I'll open it up there because this is it's there, right? And I want Corey to get us started on that, if you don't mind, sir. As far as talking about the power of the N-word, brother.
Yeah, I feel a certain type of way when another Canadian rapper used that word.
Damn it.
But anyway, the N-word. I used to have an acronym: Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished.
Oh,
to find out, Tupac had put out an album that had that song on there, Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished. However, we just gonna say it. Nigga is not a good word for us to be using in period. I mean, here's the thing. I use it endearment, and I don't use it around kids because of the fact that I don't want them to be able to say, "Oh, well, my daddy says that I can say."
They are parrots,
because they will repeat it. And the worst person you want to say, they at church after Sunday school with their homeboy. What's up, my nigga? What? What? They go like, Brother Alvarez. Yeah. He's like, we heard your son use the N-word. Oh, my bad. But no, in the real, I get why people say that I can say it and you can't. But as a grown man, as a faith believer, and as a person who wants to practice who he preach, not just for me to say I'm good, but just because I want to leave a well example for my children at all times, I choose not to say that word. And I don't, and especially the hard R, I don't like
that's different.
Sound of it. That's cringeworthy to me.
Yeah. But I mean, it has a lot of pain behind it, man. And I don't know if you want to share that story on some of the pain it caused you. Fortunately for me, I had never been called that, by anyone else outside of a term of endearment. I have been in places like Mississippi and called boy. Now, when someone calls you boy, that hits just as hard as the N-word with the hard R, if not harder.
Yes.
But when you outside of your comfort zone with no backup, you was like, okay, all right, I'm out. I'll turn around. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah. But
I pray your light don't turn on when you want to.
Nah, man, I'm there with you, man. I have a bad habit of using it too in my off time when I'm not in a professional environment. But I'm gonna tell you, I've been trying to get away from it, man, because there's a lot of pain. The history, I don't think we have to explain why it has the pain, right? But trying to get away from it is we talked about Rich Homie Quan, right? He had a whole song with YG. That's the name of the song, My Hitter. Yeah, and it's just so good because when that song come on, I'm saying it. I'm sorry, it's bad. I'm a hypocrite because I'm like, I need to stop saying it. But if I'm somewhere and that come on, it's going don.
Well, Bobby, how do you feel about the N-word? Let's talk about it. I see the eyes.
I think that is a very derogatory term. I do not think anybody of any shade of brown should be used. I consider myself in the brown area because I know we use the colors white and black. However, when you look at the color white and black, none of us are white or black. We're all just different shades of brown. That's why I'm saying that. Nobody should be using that word. If it was meant to hold people down, let's stop using it to continue to keep each other down, I would say.
I can see that.
I think that it's a cultural thing because I've watched videos of like Black people in the UK, and not in Ukraine, in the United Kingdom, in England, and they are very gentlemanlike. They are very proper whenever they speak. and I'm almost positive I've never seen anything where I hear them use that term. And so I wonder, is this just something in the United States that's being used, or is this something globally being
global.
It's global, because I can tell you, man, I got a lot of friends from Cameroon. And actually, I had my last time in Korea, I had a lot of friends from Cameroon, in Nigeria, and we came to a consensus. We're not much different, and we both were like, "Hey, you know what I mean?" Like, and they were saying it too. So I don't think it's specific to the U.S., but and maybe that pain is specific to us because of where it came from. It's a tough one. I know we shouldn't, but it's hard to stop.
Now I'll tell you about the thing about the word boy. I used to work with somebody, a big old black dude from Mississippi, I think too. And I said something to him one day. I was like, "Yo, what up, my boy?" Or I said something, "Yeah, boy," like something not necessarily towards him, but he got extremely offended. And he came and had told me like, "Boy means something different." I'm like, well, here in a Hispanic and Latino community, it's like I'm not seeing it the way that he was seeing it. And I told him, well, I'm not meaning it in a derogatory way. He goes, I know. I get where you're coming from. But when I said it, and I remember somebody else going like, "Oh," and I was like, "What'd I say?" Right. I didn't know. And then when you had mentioned it, you know what I mean? I had to end up telling him, I was like, "I don't mean anything like that. Like, you're my brother, just like anybody else would be." I said, I would never ever do nothing to try to disrespect you or nothing like that. And he's like, "Oh, I know, just not in our culture," but he said specifically like in Mississippi and those rural southern areas that it's used in a derogatory, almost like saying
I'd never heard it like that before until I was
not something I knew until that day, because I never heard that.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, I'm in the wrong place. So I'll turn around and I'll go down. You see the black side of Biloxi that way? Okay, I'll just go down the street.
Yeah, I mean, it's
what's that? Where Keesler is?
Yep.
The bad part about that is it's like with the N-word, as long as it's been around, it ain't going nowhere. Yeah, it's not. And then some people, especially this younger generation,
they all saying it.
Yeah, they're and I think the reason why, because they don't look at it from the suffering. I think they need to go see Roots. They need to see Roots, the unedited version, the Alex Riley version, the one where the hard R is in there, and then they probably need to see a couple other things, because of the fact that word, and I'm talking about the hard R, even though it transitioned to the A, because the hard R could be very triggering, right?
Yeah, 100%.
People lost their jobs for saying it.
I hear it and I get offended if I hear somebody else call that. I'm like, "Excuse me, what the hell did you just say?"
But then here's the thing: they also use it into, "Oh, there go the baby." Yeah.
She said, "Daddy, let me close the door for you, so people don't bother us."
Lock the door,
So, but you know what I'm saying? When they say that, and then they say that word hard R lover, then that's like it's even painful. So I say that to say all this. Just watch it. I mean, if you're not gonna stop saying it, just watch it, because there's been several people who've lost their job because somebody said it and they were very using it derogatory, and they just said, "Oh, this person, he works for the post office and he has a uniform on. Let me go ahead and find out what post office he works at," and sends that information, or go on their LinkedIn and find out this person is using it derogatory to downplay other people. Boom. They lose their job. Like, there's literally a page on Instagram for people trying to find out whoever did anything harsh or harmful, so they can find the person who did it, look them up on LinkedIn or in some other database, just to find their name, so they can report it to their company, and their company just go ahead, "Okay, well."
Were y'all following the whole stuff that happened with like Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that the squirrel that the people? I think somebody got raided and they killed the squirrel.
Yeah, and they chopped the head off the raccoon. To like a lady from Texas called in a complaint against these people. They had rescued these animals since they were like babies, and they had raised them. They were their pets and stuff. They were like a dog or a cat and stuff. And Peanut the squirrel had his own Instagram page, hundreds, thousands of followers.
I think I've seen some of his videos when he's like singing and stuff on the mic.
It's cute. They have him wearing like little hats and stuff, and they take really good care of him and everything of their animals. And some dumb lady from Texas, boy, man, it did not take long. It did not take long for not just the internet to blow up, for them to find who the person was and blasted her ass all over Instagram and Facebook. She ended up getting rid of all of her social media. I bet she got so much hate. And this just goes to show you, man, keep your nose where it belongs, not other people's business.
Keep your nose where it belongs. Now back to what you were talking about, because I think you were saying it may not go anywhere, and I think it won't. I would hope the hateful version of it will. I mean, I would settle for at least that going somewhere, but the right, I don't think it's going anywhere, man.
That ain't going nowhere.
It's so ingrained in hip hop culture, man.
They made it so cool to say that. I'm like, man,
yeah. But I will say this:
language.
I think you're not lying about the ER, the hard R, being traumatizing. But I think for our community, we need to learn how to let that go. Because if we continue to let it trigger us, we may put ourselves in trouble. Going back to the 13th Amendment, you don't want to be put in servitude because you committed a crime, right? And that's my take on it. Because is it painful? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's just a word. If someone isn't coming at you, putting their hands on you or nothing like that, let it go. Let it go, man. Like
it ain't worth the jail sentence. It ain't worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
And to the people like us, it's not. However, you can't say that to somebody who's probably in constant therapy, because they probably have experienced that most of their adult life, and they came from an area where it was traumatically, and they're working through it. You know what I'm saying? They can be working through it. But if somebody just up and call you a NIGG hard R, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like that is like a give me 10 seconds, let me calm down, let me walk around.
Yeah, find whatever you need to do, because I don't want you going to jail, man. We don't want you going. We don't us in jail.
The goal is to stay free. My goal for these next 4 years is to stay free. Okay.
The goal for the rest of my life is to stay free.
No, I'm gonna stay free, but I'm talking about to do anything and everything I can to be at peace.
You know, at the end of the day, you can't control what people tell you, but you can control how you react to what they tell you.
Exactly.